Coaches, the next topic that we're going to cover is proper huddle organization. Obviously, organization is extremely important in the game of football, and it all starts in the huddle. The type of huddle we're going to show you today is a simple two-tier huddle, and we're going to demonstrate that with our players. The first point that I'd like to mention about the huddle is that it needs to be set somewhere between 5 and 7 yards from the line of scrimmage. Our center right now will set the huddle by establishing that 5 to 7 yard mark. Let's have our huddle jog out to 5 to 7 yards. The huddle's job is to hold his hands up and to call huddle. He sets the center of that huddle 5 to 7 yards. What we typically do here is we'll line up the offensive line in the front row, and we'll line up all of the perimeter players in row 2. This is a two-tiered huddle because the first row, we want them with their hands on their knees. Their head should still be up so they can see and breathe properly. The back row is standing tall. It's very important that the back row is standing directly behind a player in front of them. What that does is it creates a very easy count system for our quarterback. Our quarterback can very simply see 5 in the front row, 5 in the back row, and we know we have the proper number in the huddle. We will leave all the communication up to the quarterback in the huddle. He is the only one that is allowed to talk in that huddle. We've given our quarterback a simple play call right now. We've called Pro 24, and we'll tell him to say the play call and the cadence twice. He'll say it once to the right side of the huddle, once to the left side of the huddle, and they will all break out. I'll mention before they do that how important it is that all 11 players hustle to the line of scrimmage and get set in their proper positions. Quarterback, if you go ahead and call that play call, we're going to go Pro 24 on 1. Okay, as they break the huddle, you'll see the center gets to the ball and gets set with his hand on the football. Our offensive linemen are all going to go ahead and put their hands down, as well as our tight end. Okay, right now we're in a very traditional formation. We're in a formation that works for us here, and it has 7 players on the line of scrimmage. We have to make sure we have 7 players on the line of scrimmage at all times. So we have our 5 offensive linemen, our tight end, and our 1 wide receiver on the line of scrimmage. At this point, we're going to let our offensive lineman go to a knee, and we'll talk very simply about our numbering system. Traditional numbering system for run and pass plays would be that even number plays are to the right and odd number plays are to the left. We'll start out actually with the center's feet. The center's right foot, if coach would be over by the center's right foot, his right foot is actually the 0 hole in alignment, and his left foot would be numbered 1. From there on out, we start moving to gaps. And when we mean gaps, we're talking about the gaps between each individual lineman. The gap between the center and the right guard would be considered the 2 hole. Moving out 1 spot would be considered 4. Moving out 1 more spot would be considered 6. And finally, anything outside of our tight end alignment would be considered an 8 hole play. Obviously, we can run the same alignments to the left. The center's left foot would be 1. The gap between the center and the guard would be 3. 5 would be the next gap. On out 1 more, we would get to 7. And finally, outside of a tight end or an imaginary tight end, the same alignment would create a 9 hole alignment. Okay, obviously, coaches, there are a number of factors that make huddle organization important. Everything from making sure you have the correct number of players to making sure that the right communication happens in the huddle. Without that, we can't have a proper play.